Imagine you're working in a mine, and all of a sudden there's an explosion. Now you're injured, you're stuck down there. To save you, we'd enter such a rescue mission. However, following the explosion, some rubbles have accumulated, making movement challenging. Also, there may be hazardous gas that start to propagate into the mine. So instead of sending human rescuers right away, what about sending an expandable robot? Yeah, it could scout and explore the environment to look for victims like you, and also with its sensors, it could build a map of the environment. So whenever it goes back to the rescue team, it could share that map with them. That increase of situational awareness will help them to understand the shape of the environment, but also it will help them to plan their next move to go and fight and save you. However, time is critical in such a rescue mission. We need to find and save the people in time. So what happens if one robot doesn't have enough energy or is just not fast enough to go throughout the environment in time to save you? Well, there's one very promising solution, which is, well, adding more robots. And maybe we can think of something better. What if they work together as a collective group? That, my friends, is what we call multi-robot exploration. Hi, my name is Etienne Vinmer. I'm a master's student here in Moore Lab at University of Sherbrooke. Part of my research is about multi-robot system and also multi-robot exploration. So if you're interested to learn about this field or just have a glimpse about multi-robot exploration, well, we decided to make this video series about multi-robot exploration. We'll get from its underlying concept to what is the review of the techniques used in the research landscape nowadays. In this video, more specifically, we're going to tackle what are the definition of multi-robot exploration, and also I'm going to introduce to you what is the process of multi-robot exploration. So what is exploration? Well, exploration is the process of actively gaining information about our environment. This is similar to what the explorers did back in the days, where they were traveling on sea to increase their knowledge of the world by finding new lands. This is no different in robotics. The robots wants to move around and learn about its environment. But the thing is, you might have guessed, humans don't always explore, so when do we need this exploration task in robotics? Like I introduced in this video, in search and rescue mission, we like the exploration task because in itself we want to have a map of the environment. However, we can see this exploration task in more mundane robots, like in floor cleaning robots. The first time those robots are deployed in your house, they need to understand what is the shape of your house so they can plan their next cleaning task. So the first time they're deployed, they're gonna do this exploration task to understand how your house is laid out. So it's kind of important and more than just search and rescue mission. We can argue that actually the exploration task is needed whenever a robot is deployed in an unknown environment, but it needs to know its environment to perform its task. So now the next question is, when do we need multi-robot exploration? You might have guessed you don't need 30 floor cleaning robots to explore your house the first time they're deployed. One is enough. Why is that? Because it has enough time. It has no issue to take one day or multiple hours. So we can argue that multi-robot systems are useful in exploration whenever one robot is not fast enough to explore the environment for its given task. And that's why it's so promising in search and rescue mission where time is critical. On the other hand, you might like to use multi-robot system in exploration if you need to be at two places at the same time. For example, if you have a surveillance mission / exploration mission, well, it might be useful to have two robots at different places but at the same time. Now that we know when to use multi-robot system, we need to understand why actually using multi-robot systems are better comparing to using either single robots or multiple single robots that don't work together. Well, the first main advantages comes from information sharing. We know that the robots build maps of their environment with their sensors. So one thing that is very powerful is actually share the maps between the robots so the robots can have this global map of the environment. So now a robot can plan its next move of exploration way beyond what he ever saw with his sensors. Another big advantages of multi-robot system is actually coordination. So a robot can say, okay, I'm going there, you're going there, let's not go to the same place. So the coordination goal is actually to prevent that redundant exploration, which is bad because you take double the energy to get the same information. However, coordination and information sharing only exist if communication exists. So It's very important when you have communication issues to take that into account into your pipeline, otherwise you will have sub-performance. However, we will not cover that in this video series, but we might do a video series later about what we should do when we have communication issues. Now that we know what is multi-robot exploration, when to use it and why it's actually better compared to single robot exploration, we can now dive into how it performs. There's two big categories of how exploration is done. There are systematic exploration and non-systematic exploration. In non-systematic exploration, the robots don't use their map to recall the places they have visited. So in other words, even if they build a map for the output of the mission, the robots don't use their map in the decision making. One very common example of this is random walk. In random walk, robots just move randomly in an environment until they explore everything. But there are some problems with that because while there's a lot of redundant exploration, we have no guarantee that the robot won't explore the same place. And also maybe some robots might get stuck in one place of the environment and they need to get lucky to get out of that place. So it seems less efficient. However, it's so simple to implement. So if you have a swarm of robots composed of thousands of robots, maybe if you implement that behavior, it could be even more efficient comparing to having less robots, but maybe with a more complex coordination mechanism. Most of the works in the literature use their map to recall the places they have visited, so that's what we call systematic exploration. Since most of the research is about that, well, this video series is going to reflect more what is systematic exploration compared to non-systematic exploration. Since systematic exploration is a little bit more complicated compared to random walks, we need to have more steps. And work in literature can mainly be divided in 3 steps. The first one is identification. In this identification process, the robots need to identify what are the places it could go in his map to gain information about the environment. So it's actually where I could go to explore. One of the most known work in that is frontier exploration. The second step is the evaluation step. In the evaluation step, the robot takes the solution space given by the zone identified in the first step, and it gives a worth or a cost to each place it could visit. That could be based on, oh, I'm going to take the closest one, I'm going to take the one that gives the more information, or you can use a function cost to actually balance some objective, like I want to not spend too much energy, but I want to do it as quick as possible. Just as a side note here, single robot exploration stops here. The robots just need to identify the zone it could explore and evaluate them and just take the best one and just iterate into that until they explore the whole environment. However, the multi-robot system has the advantages of having a third step, which is coordination. In that step, that's where the robots separate the job of exploring. For example, oh, I'm gonna go there, you're gonna go there. The robots try to be globally efficient to explore the environment. And this could be done by task allocation that could be centralized, decentralized, like market-based or on-guarded method. Or you can go towards, okay, let's affect the previous step, which is the evaluation, but let's take into account information or decision from the other robots to just make the mission more efficient. All those 3 steps has a lot of method and literature. So the goal of this series is actually to make a video for each of them and to explain what is the state of the art of the most popular techniques that are used in all of those steps. So at the end of the day, you can build your own multi-robot exploration process by combining different kind of identification step, also evaluation step, and coordination step. Congrats, now you learn about multi-robot exploration. If you want to learn more about this topic, I highly suggest that you go watch the next videos about the state of the art of the different steps that I shown earlier. Also, if you have any kind of question or suggestion for this video, well, feel free to write them down in the comment section below. Also, if you want to see more content like this, well, don't forget to put a like on this video and subscribe to the channel. Hope to see you in the next videos.